Welcome back, guys. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day. When I was little, we were living in the Bronx, and my mother said, "You guys need to make sure that you're doing something constructive with yourself." And she went on in the kitchen and started cooking. So my brother and I decided we were going to take our shoes off because we were going to take our white socks and we were going to slide up and down the hall because it was slippery, and we were able to slide almost all the way down where my mother was in this kitchen. And we did this for a period of time until she came out of the kitchen. She said, "What in the world? I just mopped this floor. What are you guys doing?" "Well, we mop, we sliding." "No, no, no, that's not what you're going to do. Take those." And when she looked down, she said, "Pick your feet up." And we picked our socks, picked one foot up so she could see the bottom of our socks. And our socks were almost black. She was too through. It was a new detergent that she was trying out, and apparently it did not work. So she made us go in the bathroom and wash our socks out ourselves with ivory soap. I'll never forget it was ivory soap, because the fragrance of ivory soap to me always smelled very clean, as well as it made our socks so white you would have thought that bleach was in those socks, which also answered the question as to why my mother was allergic to ivory soap. It was one of the cleaning ingredients was something that also bleached, and it bleached those socks back to brand new almost. So she got very upset because we made a big mess in the bathroom, because it was so many suds you would have thought a wash machine was going in that bathroom. And the bathroom became really soapified, I'll make that word up. And there was soap all over the floor. So she was not happy, and she said, "Go in the bedroom and find something constructive to do like I told you to do in the first place." I went for a book, my brother went for the Etch-a-Sketch. So, the lesson in all of this is sometimes we don't realize that things are one way when they actually are another. She thought that floor was clean, but that floor wasn't clean. By us going back and forth, she was very frustrated because she was very upset that that floor was not clean, because my mother was a clean fanatic with some things. And if she cleaned something, she wanted to make sure that she could put her stamp on it. She couldn't put her stamp on that floor because that floor was not as clean as she thought. Such is society. Sometimes things are not as clean as we think. I told you before, my aunt said that there were two social security cards. And when you can falsify information like that and have two social security cards, and another person can have two driver's licenses. I went to motor vehicles because when I went into trucking, they never said anything about it at one point. But when I went to update my license, they said, "You got a license in South Carolina." I'm like, "Are you serious?" I turned that in a long time ago. If one person is a technician and they don't press the right button, let's say the woman did and she pressed the button and it wasn't hard enough, the information didn't go in correctly. So now I had to go call South Carolina and clear up all these records, because I'm like, oh my goodness, I wanted to make sure that I had everything correct. Because anyone that knows me, they know that when I move to another state or whatever, I want everything switched. I'll change my number. I'll do all sorts of things to make sure that I am, completely in that state. It's only until recently I realized that you keep changing your telephone number, certain people can't get in touch with you. So, some things you change, some things you don't necessarily have to change. It's totally up to you, your choice, right? So with this being done, when a person is able to have two social security cards, and then I find out that there's two birth certificates, that says a lot more. When a person can falsify, manipulate society in such a way, what does that mean? That means that falsified information goes on regularly, right? Now, there was a man who decided that he wanted to falsify information, take a drive, take I had to report my license was stolen. And somehow, when I did this, the officials sent back a copy of the paperwork, and they said that the information They said that the license was lost. So I had to go and speak to them. I said, why is it that I put this complaint in and you say that it was lost? I said, well, if we don't find the culprit, we can't say that it was stolen. We have to say that it was misplaced or lost. And I found that to be quite unusual when I typed in specifically what I typed into the computer. You see, the interpretation of everyone is not always going to be the same. People are going to sometimes see things so differently. It's like a copycat, a person who wants to be you, but they can't be you. So they get angry with you and they find themselves jealous of you because they cannot be you. That's just the outcome. So let's go back to the paperwork being falsified. When it's so easy to falsify information, then where do we find ourselves? A person can take your driver's license and they can falsify information and state that they are married to you. And they'll be married to you and you'll be walking around thinking you're single and you're actually married to a person. They can actually have permission from a parent who can tell them it's okay and help get the information that they need. Sign over paperwork and have someone else stand in your place. We have a corrupt society when this can be a successful situation that can actually happen. Then they'll take all this information because you just happen to be a person who inherited land as well as money. And they'll have someone taking the money out of this account under your name. So it looks as though it is you who's been accepting this money, and it's a totally different person. The person can sign your signature because maybe they even grew up with you. So they can sign their information over to this person, and everyone can have this corrupt society. This is also manipulating the government, by the way. This is also a law that is being broken. Now, at the end of the day, when people are able to get away with so much and society could be corrupted at such a level, we have to then decide that certain laws have to be put in place. Now, we have a lot of people who are leaving certain levels of government and retiring. Some people have died off. Now we have new people who need to be prepared for such a position. And when you take a position such as this, you are going to take an oath. Make sure that you realize before you take this position that when you take an oath, you are swearing by not only yourself in front of so many people, you are swearing on the Bible. And when you swear on the Bible, you are telling God that you are going to make sure that you are making the necessary decisions that are going to help society, help your community. So let us not forget that, because even when an officer takes an oath, he's taking an oath and he's saying that I am going to protect the community. Once that is compromised, that means he needs to step down. When you have officers who have left one community and gone to another, his new community, he now has to stand in alignment with that community in helping, in nurturing that society, that community of people. Let us not forget that now, right at this point in time, because we have a new president going into office. Are we going to support this president? Are we going to observe? Because I hope that we have a president who is going to stand in alignment and make sure that he's making the necessary choices that are going to help our country, because our country has suffered so much. There's so much going on out here that it's important, and it's important that we take on the responsibilities. Now, if we don't know how to, whether we have to receive help, that's a whole nother thing. And it's good to receive help if you need it. But don't take on a job that you don't believe that you can do successfully. And don't take on a job for the money. Take it on because you know that you can wholeheartedly take that position and you can definitely invest in that community, okay? So that's been my word. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Indigo Moon.